I just bought the DeWalt 20V Max XR DCS 334B jigsaw, and here is an honest review. Now, I thought it would be helpful to have something to compare this to, so I'm going to do a series of tests with the DeWalt jigsaw compared to my old Black & Decker jigsaw, and we're going to see how they hold up against each other. So here's some of the features on the DeWalt XR jigsaw. So to attach the blade, just got to pull that lever up, slide it in just like that, make sure it's lined up on the wheel, release the lever, boom, we're locked in. To move the blade forward and backward, you can adjust this lever here, adjust it forward and backward just slightly so it'll make it easier for a plunge cut. Now I can move this lever here, gotta slide this forward and then it bevels, slide it back to lock in place, and then tighten that lever. We also got, by the trigger, the lock button there, and it's variable speed. And here are all of the features on my old Black & Decker jigsaw. Blade release, that's about it. That is about it. I can bevel, but I gotta take 2 screws out to adjust it, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, it's not great. Now don't get me wrong, it has lasted many years for a very cheap price, and I've been happy with it. I'm pumped about this upgrade. I first wanted to show a few cuts with the Black & Decker jigsaw. So here is an 1.5 inch thick piece of black walnut wood, and it was able to get through it all right. However, as you can see here, there was loads of blade deflection. Like, that is nowhere close to 90 degrees, so that is not great. Now, with an 1 inch thick piece of pine wood, it was able to do just fine. So it definitely works well on smaller projects, but against this 2 inch thick butcher block, it was struggling. I could barely get through it. So it was time to jump to the DeWalt XR jigsaw. So it did great through the pine wood as expected. Certainly has more than enough power. In fact, I even had to slow it down because it was so fast for me. Now, up against the butcher block, I didn't know how it would do, but it was able to tear through that thing no problem. I just had to adjust the speed a little bit there. So it did well against the thicker stock. Onto the black walnut wood, again just doing a little bit of a half circle here to compare the blade deflection. And as you can see here, there's still a little bit of blade deflection for sure, but it is significantly better than the Black & Decker jigsaw. Now, the DeWalt has a couple of extra features I wanted to try. So here's a plunge cut in the piece of pine wood here. It did great with that. Wanted to try a plunge cut in a piece of hardwood, so here's that black walnut again, and it was even able to plunge cut in there, which was really impressive. After spending some more time using the DeWalt jigsaw, a few things I noticed. First is that it has loads of power for anything you will ever need to cut through with the jigsaw. Like, the power was seriously impressive. Also, I really loved some of the added features. The bevel was nice, the variable speed was nice, and it's really nice that this is all easy to adjust and you don't need an extra tool to adjust it. Now, the 2 minor cons that I would give the DeWalt jigsaw first is that it is oddly loud, like way louder than my Black & Decker jigsaw. And the second, also minor, but the included blade is absolute garbage. Like, for real, if you buy this, immediately replace the blade with like a Diablo blade or something like that. Now, I gotta give Black & Decker props because my jigsaw lasted me for a long time. So if you're only doing small projects or you're only using it once or twice, it might be worth it, even though it's clearly not as good as DeWalt. Overall, I have been super happy with the DeWalt XR jigsaw. It's performed super well, and I'm gonna give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. Sure, the Black & Decker and other cheaper jigsaws in its class work well if you're not gonna use it a lot, like if you just have one project in mind, or if you only cut through really thin pieces of wood. But if you're cutting thicker pieces of stock or hardwood, I would definitely consider this as a solid option.